Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into what is essentially a high-stakes rescue mission for your struggling e-commerce store, migrating to Shopify. Look, deciding to switch platforms, that's not something a business does just for kicks, right? It's almost always a move born out of absolute pure necessity. When your current setup starts literally buckling under high traffic, or just needs this constant stream of manual patches just to stay online, well, you know it's time to take action. So today we are unpacking exactly how to plan, execute, and stabilize a migration to a platform that, by the way, powers over 26% of the global e-commerce market. Let's get into it.
Here is our roadmap for today. We're going to cover 1. The tipping point. 2. Essential pre-migration planning. 3. The step-by-step move. 4. Navigating the SEO minefield. And 5. Post-launch stabilization. Think of this blueprint as your guide to getting safely across the bridge from a failing legacy platform to scalable operational freedom.
All right, Section 1, the tipping point, recognizing the warning signs of a failing platform. This is all about that ticking time bomb moment when you realize your current setup is no longer a growth engine, it's actually become an active bottleneck.
To really set our destination here, I want you to consider this mind-blowing stat. During peak periods in 2024, Shopify's massive multi-tenant cloud architecture processed over $4.6 million in sales per minute, and they did that with zero downtime. Crazy, right? Listen, growth should never feel like a threat to your business, but for a lot of legacy platforms, a viral marketing campaign or a massive Black Friday surge, it's basically a recipe for a total site crash. Elastic scaling means that even if your order volume triples overnight, your performance stays absolutely rock solid.
Now, contrast that massive, effortless scale with, well, a pretty toxic setup. If your developers are trapped spending, say, 80% of their time just fixing bugs and a measly 20% building actual new features, your operational costs are literally eating your margins alive. Seriously, when manual workarounds become your daily standard, things like syncing inventory across channels by hand or generating custom shipping labels one by one, you aren't just losing time, you are bleeding money.
So you're probably asking yourself right now, when exactly is the right time to replatform? Have I outgrown my current setup? Well, the answer really lies in spotting the breaking points way before you hit a catastrophic tipping point of lost revenue. Most businesses wait until something fundamentally shatters, but the absolute best, most successful transitions happen before that disaster ever strikes.
Here's the crucial takeaway. Technical ceilings blocking mobile-first features, endless manual tasks, and the absolute nightmare of expanding into global markets without unified tools, those are your glaring red flags. If you're constantly hearing your team say, yeah, our platform doesn't support that, instead of, awesome, let's build that, your tech is completely failing you. And hey, if you're pulling your hair out trying to manage different currencies and localized taxes just to sell internationally, you are leaving serious money on the table. Legacy systems just fall apart under that kind of complexity.
Okay, let's move into Section 2, Essential Pre-Migration Planning. Preparation means more than moving data. In this pre-game phase, meticulous preparation is absolutely vital. A rushed migration is just a failed migration waiting to happen. There's a classic developer saying that perfectly fits here. Garbage in, garbage out. If your current database is totally cluttered with, say, test products from 2019, duplicate customer profiles, or just really messy SKU formatting, you have to clean it up right now. It is significantly easier, way easier, to scrub duplicate profiles or a messy CSV file before it ever hits a live Shopify admin panel. You just can't expect a shiny new platform to magically fix terrible data hygiene.
Think of this data mapping phase exactly like moving house. You need to audit your existing tech stack. And look, if you haven't used that custom subscription bridge in 2 solid years, leave it in the attic. Do not pay to migrate your legacy bloat. You really need to take a hard, honest look at the tools you actually use. Map out exactly how an order gets to the warehouse, how refunds are handled, the whole shebang. That way, you'll know exactly which new Shopify apps or custom APIs you're going to need to take over those jobs.
All right, let's dive into Section 3, the step-by-step move, executing the data transfer and logic rebuild. This is where we get into the actual execution phase, a fast-paced, highly methodical sequence designed specifically to move your data and rebuild your logic without breaking a single thing.
So the first half of this rescue mission involves extracting your data and, crucially, your hidden SEO details. Actually, a quick side note, things like product alt text are notoriously easy to accidentally leave behind, so definitely watch out for that. Then you've got to format and match your old data to fit Shopify's really strict CSV requirements. Next up, you import the store skeleton, which is your catalog and customers. And finally, you rebuild your back-end e-commerce logic. This is essentially the brain of your store. You have to meticulously recreate discount rules, customer segments, and automated tags totally from scratch to ensure the new store behaves exactly the way your market expects.
Then we hit the final setup and launch steps. You'll be configuring your payment gateways and shipping and setting up your API integrations to plug right into Shopify's massive ecosystem. We're talking over 8,000 apps here. Then you customize your store's user experience. After that, you run a staging ghost hunt. If you're wondering what a ghost hunt is, it's basically where you intentionally try to break your store before launch by placing weird test orders and pushing the mobile responsiveness to its limits. Finally, when QA gives the absolute thumbs up, you launch and update your DNS settings to point to Shopify's servers. Just keep in mind that DNS change can sometimes take up to 48 hours to spread globally, so plan accordingly.
Now, when you're looking at resourcing options for this massive move, we can sharply contrast a couple of approaches. On one hand, you have the old-school manual CSV approach. Sure, it's free, but it is heavily prone to human error and labor-intensive, making it really only viable for small, fairly simple stores. On the complete opposite end of the spectrum, you have full-scale agency-led replatforming. An agency handles the whole process, from the initial audit to complex custom API development. They treat the move as a full digital transformation. And of course, third-party turnkey apps kind of sit comfortably right there in the middle.
Let's move on to Section 4, Navigating the SEO Minefield, making the transition invisible to Google. We are entering a highly critical, high-tension phase of the project here. If you aren't careful, you could literally lose years of hard-earned organic traffic in a single afternoon.
The ultimate goal here is to make this transition completely invisible to search engines. And the core of that? 301 redirects. Without meticulously mapping every single old URL to its new Shopify equivalent using a 301 redirect, Google's just going to hit a wall of 404 errors, and your rankings will instantly plummet. I can't stress this enough. This is absolutely the single most important step in the entire process. And please, do not just lazily redirect everything to your homepage. You need to specifically point old products to new products and old categories directly to their corresponding new collections.
To make sure this shift is seamless, you also need to preserve your URL structure wherever humanly possible. Try to keep those original slugs and handles identical. Also, you must explicitly export and transfer your title tags, metadata, and schema. Definitely don't just rely on default settings there. You'll want to use a crawler, like Screaming Frog, to hunt down and fix broken internal links so your SEO authority, or what folks call link juice, keeps flowing to exactly the right pages. And finally, actively submit your shiny new sitemap.xml straight to Google Search Console. Seriously, do not sit around hoping Google will stumble upon it on its own.
And that brings us to our final section, Section 5. Post-launch stabilization, landing the plane safely, and monitoring growth. This is the aftermath. Because remember, hitting that Go Live button, that is absolutely not the finish line.
You must follow a really strict stabilization timeline to safely land this plane. In hour 1, right after you launch, you need to be checking mobile load speeds to ensure heavy images aren't suddenly killing your conversions. Fast forward to hour 12, and you should be glued to Shopify's live view to track that orders are actually flowing properly to your fulfillment tools. By hour 24, you're hunting down any of those ghost 404 errors that might have slipped through the cracks. And by week 1, you must be actively training your staff. Honestly, resistance to change from your own team is often the biggest non-technical bottleneck in any migration. If they don't know how to quickly process a refund on the new backend, your operations will just grind to a halt.
Given the immense, draining cost of technical debt and all the international revenue you might be losing right now on a legacy platform, I want to leave you with this one provocative thought. Is delaying this migration actually the biggest risk to your business today? Think about it. If you are spending more money duct taping your old site together than you are actually marketing it, the answer is a resounding yes. It might just be time to pack up the house, ditch the bloat, and finally make the move. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will see you on the next one.